Have you ever thought about what mental health really means? It's a question that's often left unanswered or answered with misconceptions and half-truths. Let's delve deeper into this concept, shall we? Mental health, in the simplest terms, refers to our psychological and emotional well-being. It's about how we think, how we feel, and how we handle stress. It's about understanding our emotions and managing our relationships. Now, you might be wondering, why should I care about mental health? Well, let's put it this way. Just like physical health, mental health is an integral part of our lives. It affects how we make decisions, interact with others, and cope with life's challenges. It's not something that only concerns a few. It's a universal aspect of human existence. Yet there's a common misconception that mental health is only about mental illnesses. While it's true that mental health encompasses conditions like depression and anxiety, it's not limited to these. Mental health is about maintaining a healthy psychological state, and that includes the prevention and treatment of mental illnesses. Another misconception is that mental health is a personal matter, something to be dealt with behind closed doors. But in reality, mental health is a collective concern. It impacts our families, our communities, and our societies at large. We also need to debunk the myth that you're either mentally healthy or mentally ill, with no in-between. Mental health is not binary, it's a spectrum. Just as you can be physically fit one day and catch a cold the next, your mental health can fluctuate too. It's dynamic and ever-changing. Why is this important to understand? Because knowing the true nature of mental health can help us break the stigma attached to it. It can foster more open discussions, increase empathy, and encourage early intervention. So let's start changing the narrative. Let's start understanding mental health for what it is, a vital part of our overall well-being that deserves our attention and care. Remember, mental health matters just as much as physical health, and everyone has it. So, how can you tell if someone might be struggling with their mental health? This question is often met with furrowed brows and concerned faces. It's no wonder, as the signs can be as diverse and complex as mental health itself. One of the most common indicators that someone might be dealing with a mental health issue is a noticeable change in their behavior. This could manifest as a shift in their daily routines, a sudden lack of interest in activities they once enjoyed, or even a marked increase in risk-taking behaviors. Another sign to look out for is a change in mood. While we all have our ups and downs, consistent and prolonged periods of sadness, irritability, or unusual excitement could be indicative of a mental health problem. Remember, these mood changes are not just typical bad days, they are persistent and significantly affect a person's ability to function normally. Changes in appearance can also be a clue. Someone struggling with their mental health might show a lack of concern for their personal hygiene or physical appearance. They might appear disheveled, or their weight might fluctuate dramatically in a short period. It's important to note, however, that these signs are not definitive proof of a mental health problem. They are simply potential indicators, red flags if you will, that something might be amiss. And while it's crucial to be aware of these signs, it's equally essential to avoid playing the role of a psychologist or psychiatrist. Diagnosing mental health issues is a complex process that requires professional training and expertise. Instead, consider these signs as a call to action. They might be a signal that a person needs help, that they are reaching out in the only way they know how. They might be a cry for understanding, for compassion, for someone to just be there and listen. Keep in mind, these signs don't necessarily mean someone has a mental health problem, but they could be a cry for help. And sometimes, that cry for help is the first step towards healing. Why is mental health first aid crucial? That's the question we're going to tackle in this segment of our discussion. Imagine you're in a crowded place and suddenly someone collapses. You know how to perform CPR, so you rush over, and you're able to help until medical professionals arrive. You've just provided physical first aid. Now let's shift that scenario. Imagine you're in that same place and someone is showing clear signs of a mental health crisis. Would you know what to do? This is where mental health first aid comes into play. Just as traditional first aid is essential for physical health emergencies, mental health first aid is equally crucial for mental health crises. It's about understanding the signs, knowing how to respond, and being able to provide immediate support. Mental health first aid isn't just for mental health professionals, it's for everyone. Just as any one of us could find ourselves in a situation where physical first aid is needed, the same is true for mental health first aid. We all have a role to play in supporting those around us who may be experiencing mental health issues. This kind of first aid can help to de-escalate a crisis, assist someone who may be thinking about suicide, or provide support to someone experiencing a panic attack. It equips us with the tools to help others until they can get the professional help they need. But its impact goes beyond immediate assistance. Mental health first aid also helps to reduce the stigma surrounding mental health. It fosters understanding and empathy, allowing us to see mental health issues as they are, health issues. In a world where nearly 1 in 4 people will experience a mental health issue at some point in their lives, the importance of mental health first aid cannot be overstated. Just as we learn CPR or the Heimlich maneuver, learning mental health first aid can make a world of difference. It helps to create a society where mental health is taken as seriously as physical health, where everyone feels supported and understood. Because at the end of the day, health isn't just about our bodies, it's also about our minds. So what can you actually do if you think someone might be struggling with their mental health? Let's dive right into it. The first step is always to approach the situation with empathy. We're all humans after all, and we all have our ups and downs. The ability to listen non-judgmentally is key. It's about creating a safe space where the person feels comfortable sharing their feelings and experiences without fear of criticism or stigma. Remember, it's not about trying to fix their problems, but about showing understanding and compassion. Next, offering reassurance is crucial. Let them know that it's okay not to be okay. It's important to validate their feelings and experiences. Reassure them that they're not alone, that help is available, and that it's perfectly fine to seek it. Encourage them to talk about their feelings. It can be incredibly therapeutic and can provide a sense of relief. Now here's where it gets a bit tricky. You might be tempted to offer advice or suggest solutions, but unless you're a mental health professional, it's wise to steer clear of this. Instead, encourage them to seek professional help. Mental health professionals have the training and expertise to provide the right kind of help and support. They can guide the individual through their journey of recovery. It's also worth mentioning that it's okay to set boundaries. Supporting someone struggling with their mental health can be emotionally draining. It's important to take care of your own mental health too. Don't hesitate to seek support for yourself if you need it. Let's not forget, patience is paramount. Mental health recovery isn't a linear process. There will be good days and bad days. Be patient, be persistent, and continue to offer your support. Finally, remember that everyone's mental health journey is unique. What works for one person might not work for another. Be flexible, be open-minded, and always be kind. Remember, you don't have to be a professional to help. Sometimes just being there can make all the difference. How can mental health first aid change our society? It's a question that might seem daunting, but the answer holds the potential to transform our communities in profound ways. Mental health first aid is more than just a set of skills or a training course. It's a movement, a shift in the way we perceive and respond to mental health issues. It's about creating a culture where mental health is as openly discussed and understood as physical health. So, what are the broader societal benefits of mental health first aid? Let's delve into that. Firstly, it helps in reducing the stigma associated with mental health. Too often, individuals suffering from mental health issues are marked with labels, alienated, or misunderstood. But when more people are educated about mental health, the misconceptions and stereotypes start to fade away. Mental health first aid provides the knowledge that fosters empathy and understanding, replacing judgment with compassion. Secondly, mental health first aid promotes understanding. It equips us with the ability to recognize when someone is struggling and gives us the tools to reach out and offer support. This understanding bridges the gap between ignorance and empathy, allowing us to interact with kindness and sensitivity. Lastly, it fosters a more compassionate society. When we can approach mental health with the same care and urgency as we do physical health, we create a society that values all aspects of health. This compassion doesn't just benefit those who are struggling, but it enriches our communities as a whole, making them more inclusive, empathetic, and supportive. In essence, mental health first aid has the power to reshape our society from the roots up. It's about creating a world where mental health is not a taboo, but a topic of conversation, a subject of understanding, and a domain of compassion. In understanding and practicing mental health first aid, we can all play a part in creating a society that values and supports mental health. Not only does this empower every individual, but it also paves the way for a healthier, more understanding, and compassionate society.